Hello and welcome to my heavy metal kitchen. I just got home from work a little earlier today and I decided it's time for a core night. Anybody know what core night is? Clean out refrigerator. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to make soup. Yes, I'm going to make soup. Some people called me the soup lady, which you know what, I didn't mind because that was a great soup that I made for Vinny's party at SIR. So I'm going to make a soup called Duchess soup, and Duchess soup is a creamy carrot soup with a cheddar kind of base and Caesar salad. I'm getting the bag. And I'm also going to make some interesting chicken. I don't want to call them chicken balls, but that's kind of what they are. But I'm going to have two different kinds of flavors. One's going to be like a buffalo style, and the other kind is going to be Japanese style. And I'm going to use some tempura and get a little creative with it. But it's really very easy, and you know, it's just something a little, something that people don't normally make. 16 ounces of chicken stock. And from there, get that heated. And I'm going to also put in a cup of heavy cream with that. Okay. And just mix that up a little. I will end up using the wire whisk, but I have a thing for wooden spoons. I just think, I don't know, you could never really screw up with them. You know, they don't hurt anything. And yeah, so I'll keep that heat up. Get out a pan. And I'm going to heat up 3 tablespoons of butter. So this is starting to melt. And then a cup of carrot, celery, onion. All done. How do you like that? And we're just going to get them cooked off here in this pan. And this is called Duchess soup. It's like cream of carrot, some people call it. And I think it's just delicious. I learned how to make it. As a teenager, I worked in a retirement home and I worked in the kitchen. And I learned how to cook a lot of different things. Mostly, I would just prep, you know, and then I learned as I went. And I really enjoyed it. And I also want to talk about some rock stuff too. I was reading my friend Rich's book, Rich Fuchsia, that did the rock book, and he's going to call in and answer some questions here. So we're just letting that cook there. When I was talking about the Gene Simmons interview with Billy Corgan, really people are really digging it, and I thought to myself, you know what? He needs to do Paul now, you know, that's what he needs to do. I think Paul Stanley, if somebody could get him to really talk, because I feel like it's a real controlled environment when he has an interview. Not that I'd know, but I did have I don't know if I told the story, but I had a situation where I was, this is when I was living in New York, and he saw me in Union Square, and he said, hey, how you doing? I forget, hey, Lindsay, how you doing? And I'm like, hey, you know, I'm not Lindsay, but, and I should have just gone along with it. You know, how about around 9-ish, we'll go out, and I miss you. And I was just like, looking at him like, are you serious? And then I thought, well, maybe he thinks I'm somebody in the Phantom, you know? And he was really nice, and I said, no, I'm not that person. So I'm on Chris Jericho's show, and he just seems like he was talking about the AI stuff, and he's just like, you know, what did he call it? He said, this is not some kind of, we don't care what the Marshall amp looks like. I don't want to hear that. This is powerful. This is a gem. It's more than you can imagine. I have no idea what to imagine. Just would love to hear what Billy Corgan had to say, because he really got Gene in on things. And when he didn't get the answer, he would go back to it, and it was really good. I thought so. Anyway, what did you think? Oh, and then he wrote, this was a good one. So Billy pinned, "What's your favorite Kiss song?" And I'm thinking, come on now. Yeah, I don't know what that was about, but I said, that's my line. And it is. So what is your favorite Kiss song? I was reading everybody's favorite song, and I started thinking, well, gee, what's my favorite songs, They vary, greatly, but probably best to just take it by the era. I think "Love Her All I Can" is a really good song. I think they should have done that on the End of the Road tour. And when I talk about his singing, I'm not busting on him. What I think a good interview would say is, what happened? It happened so quickly. Did you have some sort of surgery? And maybe people would want to know. But there's some secrecy about it. It's so strange, because John Bon Jovi has been very, open about his recovery. But I mean, Paul Stanley was great. And I think personally that he had something cleaned out, and perhaps it wasn't done right, or he just started too soon, because it just went quick. Because that Live to Win tour, he was fine. I mean, I thought he sounded great. Magic Touch, I mean, he's perfect. But yeah, for Paul, that would be awesome if he could do an interview with Paul. Now I started thinking about, what are my favorite Paul songs? I always thought that "I Want You" and "I Love It Loud," like anthem songs, and of course "Making Love." "I Stole Your Love," hardly anyone wrote that song. That's a killer song, and that's a great opener too for classic Kiss. "Detroit Rock City," I don't care how many times I've heard that song, I still love it. "King of the Nighttime World" bleeds nicely. Afterwards, but for that album, "Destroyer," I'd say the best one besides the first two is one that not many people like, but I think it's fantastic, is "Sweet Pain." And maybe the background singers are a little much, but I just think that song works, and I love Peter Criss's drumming in there. It really highlights him. And also "Love Her All I Can" is another big highlight. Maybe that's why I like those songs, because I love Peter Criss. He was my favorite classic Kiss member. I just thought he had a great voice. He has a real, talk about a swagger, and talking about frontmen. Obviously he wasn't a frontman, but I think he did a pretty good job. I think they all were great. Well, I don't think Ace was a great singer. Now, if I had to pick one of his songs, I'd probably pick "Rocket Ride" and his solo album. As far as Gene, I told you that one. And as far as Paul, I would say his best songs are anything off of "Lick It Up," and especially "A Million to One." And "I Still Love You." I love that one. Just not the 80s version where he's going crazy. Somebody called it vocal gymnastics. And why did Gene kept saying, "I use big words like gymnasium"? Why does he say stuff like that? It's so weird. I heard Craig Gass the other day doing him, and that cracks me up. He does I don't know if you listen to Craig Gass, I think he's funny. And he does one of Eddie Van Halen now, and it's quite good, I must say. Pretty good, but I always like the Tracy Morgan one, and the Paul Stanley screaming voice he does.
Did you hear what he said in Omaha? And I said, no. Like 3 different guys said that apparently on stage in Omaha, Paul Stanley said, "All right, people, now listen. I know this town, Omaha, Nebraska, is known for its Angus beef. And I can tell you right now, after this show, I'm going to want to sink my teeth into some meat." And the whole crowd went, "What?" And apparently he realized, and he just came back to the mic and said, "Now wait a minute, hold on. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a thigh or a rump roast." And the crowd went, "What?" And then, a lot of bands are envious of Kiss. I'm even envious of Kiss. And I was like, God damn.
Really nice guy. I got to hang out with him at Creatures Fest, and we took the shuttle together to the airport, as well as with Wednesday Addams, too. Really nice guy. I told him, I said, you know what? I have a playlist of you with everything. When I'm feeling sad, I put it on, and it cracks, makes me feel. He was so sweet. He really was. I really like, interesting last name, of course. But I just think he's really funny stuff he does. And the Tracy Morgan and the everyone in the Bronx talks the same, male or female. I can't do it, but I can do some impressions, but I might be a little embarrassed. And you know what? I want to tell Craig that he talks about the road crew talking about Gene road crew, and he said, "Oh yeah." But another one who's got really good stories is Peter Criss in his biography. He does a whole chapter on that tour with Aerosmith. All right, so this is just about done. This stuff is like pretty cooked. So then I will add some potatoes, because I really want to avoid using flour if I don't have to, because it always has that weird taste. So I'm going to put these leftover potatoes. And this is similar to what I did at the at Vinny's party. I didn't have a stove, so I had to use a crock pot, but I just had the onions, but I didn't have them frozen, but shredded hash browns. And that's how I kind of bulked it up a little bit and got it a little thick. So we'll let that sit a little bit. We're getting good over here. Funny thing happened last night. So I was stopped. I told you I was working late, and I stopped at Walmart. I love going out at night, like shopping at night. Like, I thought all Walmarts were 24 hours. Apparently they're not. And but somebody let me in last night. It was like 11 o'clock. Apparently they closed at 11. And I was in there for like half an hour shopping. And nobody stopped me, so I had stuff. Maybe 3 bags full. But I was carrying them in a little holder, because I didn't want to. My trick is, don't bring a big cart around, because it gets full real quick. So all I needed was celery. But anyway, that turned into a few other things, of course. And these 2 guys are looking at me. No, ma'am, you ain't. I don't have authority. We'd be closed. Where are you? And it's a whole breed of new people work at night, night shift. That's definitely a different crowd, because he's like, I don't have authority to help you with that, ma'am. I said, well, how about I just got all this shit, like, don't you have a cold place? We'll come back in the morning. I'll give you cash, whatever. Nope, can't do that. But, well, we can talk to this man here. And he's like, I said, who? He said, oh, he's the general manager. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll be really nice. Maybe he'll let me go. I turn around, and no lie, there was a guy about 6 foot tall, skinny, with, this is one thing I can't stand, is skinny jeans on a guy, and a white t-shirt, and he looks just like Slash, with his hair teased out to here, and a comb sticking out. No lie. He looked like he just got up from under a bus. I mean, really bad. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Is this what people look like going out and going to work? I mean, you're a general manager, and you can't pull up your pants, and you can't run a comb through your hair. But anyway, I was very nice. He said I had to use a card, and but damn, our working folks, Jesus. But yeah, just like Slash, scared the hell out. If I would have saw him on the street, I would have ran the other way. Are you seeing things like this when you're out in public? I mean, wow, and fingernails all dirty. Like, geez, this is why I like going out at night, because there's not many people out. But I do love people, but just sometimes I need a break. But thankfully, I was able to get my order through, and I got my my stuff that I need. Anyway, So that's it, and thankfully I'm feeling better. And once again, somebody helped me out. Weird looking guy at Walmart. I mean, another 2 good things happened in the same week. Oh, this is definitely ready. Here we go. We're gonna put the stuff in the soup now. The onion, carrot, celery. Let's see. I think it's gonna have to have some of that shit. It's gonna have to have a little bit of, I'm gonna do it a little bit over here with this so I can at least cook some of it off with the flour. So we're gonna get that a little bit going here. Get all those lumps out. All right, that looks getting thicker, but I don't want it too thick. I hate that taste. Can you see that? So we're getting a little thicker. And just 3 minutes will get that yucky taste out of there. And then just get the thickened portion you heated and put it into the soup. Last step, add 3 cups of medium cheddar shredded. Thanks so much for coming to my Heavy Metal Kitchen. My vote goes for Paul Stanley Interview by Billy Corgan. And I know he's very open to that stuff, questions and whatnot. Or maybe he's not, I don't know. Except for that time when he thought he knew me, which was quite funny. That time, I really should have. That would have been interesting, just if not for an interesting adventure.